Once upon a time, in a remote corner of the Appalachian Mountains, there was a place known as Hollow Lake. It was a pristine wilderness, shrouded in ancient trees and surrounded by rumors of the supernatural. People spoke of eerie whispers in the wind, ghostly apparitions at night, and unsolved mysteries that had plagued campers for generations. A group of friends, John, Sarah, Mike, and Lisa, decided to put their bravery to the test by embarking on a camping trip to Hollow Lake. They arrived at the campsite on a crisp autumn evening, the leaves rustling ominously in the dying light. Setting up their tents beside the calm, moonlit lake, they laughed off the stories they'd heard and built a warm campfire to keep their fears at bay. As the night wore on, their laughter faded, and the stories of Hollow Lake weighed heavily on their minds. Just as they were about to retire to their tents, they heard it, an unsettling whisper, carried on the wind like a haunting melody. They froze in fear, straining to make out the words. "Leave. Before it's too late." The voice was chilling, and it sent shivers down their spines. John, the bravest of the group, scoffed at the idea of supernatural entities and convinced his friends to stay. They nervously laughed it off as a prank, blaming their overactive imaginations. But the night had more in store for them. Around the campfire, strange shadows danced, and the fire's glow distorted into grotesque shapes. Unseen hands seemed to brush against them, cold and clammy. The temperature dropped dramatically, and the once calm lake now seemed to ripple with malevolent energy. Sarah, trembling with fear, noticed a pale figure standing at the edge of the lake. It was a woman in a tattered white dress, her long, jet-black hair obscuring her face. The figure glided toward them, her footsteps leaving no trace on the ground. She extended a ghostly hand toward John and whispered, "Leave, or you'll be trapped here forever." John, his bravado shattered, grabbed his friends, and they fled into the darkness. They stumbled through the woods, disoriented and terrified, but the whispers followed them, growing louder and more sinister. It felt as though the very forest itself conspired against them. Hours later, they reached the edge of Hollow Lake, only to find their campsite abandoned, the fire still burning brightly. But there was no sign of the ghostly woman. Desperate to escape, they packed their belongings and fled the cursed place, never looking back. Years later, they still shudder at the memory of Hollow Lake and the terrifying encounter they had that fateful night. They never returned to the wilderness, for they knew that some horror stories are born from chilling truths, and the horrors of Hollow Lake were all too real.